right, boys and girls. Today, we got a 53 Ford pickup truck. Has a little bit of power steering issues, but we'll get that to in a second. We're going to do a walk around. This vehicle was purchased at Rod Run in Pigeon Forge. Don't know whether it was a spring Rod Run or the fall, but the customer brought it to us, said, hey, power steering's doing a little growling. And a little bit of growling is an understatement. But give you a walk around here of the truck. And now, if you're the one that actually built this truck, if you're watching this video and you built this truck, please comment below because we have a couple questions about the truck. The owner told us that it was a Toyota steering box that had been converted for power steering. I'm not sure that's a Toyota, but if you built this truck and you can tell us what that box came from, just please comment below. All right, as you see, inside of Ford, they put a small block Chevrolet. Surprise, surprise, you didn't see that coming. But yeah, so let's fire this Jewel up and we'll show you the power steering noise. Okay, yeah, that sounds wonderful. So, the gentleman that brought us this truck bought the truck for his wife, and now I can understand completely why she doesn't want to drive it. It sounds absolutely horrible. But, let me get some wrenches, and we'll fix this truck, and I'll show you the fitting we're going to put in it to fix it. But y'all hang tight. All right, so to change the fitting on the pump, you take the line off. A 6AN is 11/16. And the fitting in the pump is 7/8. So you go ahead and break it loose, and then you can turn it by hand. And you'll notice that when you start to get it out, it's under spring pressure. Don't let it shoot up. There's a spring underneath. Don't let that fly out. Just let it in there. And you can compare it with the fitting. Wipe the fluid off. This is the fitting we just took out. And if you can see through it, see the size of the hole going through. All right. Now, we'll compare it to the other fitting. Okay, if you follow me over here, I called Visual Impact Performance, and that's the people that made that pulley setup that's on the front of that motor. And I talked to Melissa. She was very, very helpful. So if you got questions, you can call and talk to her. Their pump delivers 850 to 900 PSI at 3 to 4 GPM. Now, this fitting, the TNN1-301-020, reduces that down, that tiny little hole that's in that pump, in the fitting, reduces it down to 1.3 GPM. So, what we're going to do is we're not really changing the pressure in the pump. That's due to the shims and the springs that's in it. We're just going to reduce the actual flow of power steering. Now we can't really determine, because like I said, we don't know whose box that is in the truck. We're not going to be able to know for certain what to reduce the flow to. But this was the lowest size I could get. So we're going to install this. Now push back down on the spring and start the threads by hand to make sure you don't cross thread it. Okay, take your 7/8, tighten it up, and remember it is the pressure side, so you do want to put a little ug-a-dug on it to make sure that it is tight, because it is under pressure. Now, take your 6 AN pressure line, start it on by hand just to make sure you're not cross threading anything. Okay, wipe your fingers off, get your 11/16 wrench. They make AN wrenches. I'm too cheap to have them, but they do make them to keep from scuffing the fittings up. But if you're careful, you don't scuff the fittings up anyway, so it's okay. But again, make sure it's tight. Hold on to the hose to keep it from spinning. Put a ug-a-dug on it, make sure it's tight. And then wipe everything off. I'll get a clean paper towel and wipe everything off. All right. Let me fill it back up with fluid and we'll fire it up for you. Okay, so we connected our lines back, filled it up with power steering fluid. Imagine that. How about that? So thanks Melissa at Visual Impact for suggesting I try the fitting, because if you come around here, this is everything the customer tried before he brought the vehicle to me. This was the original pump that came on it, had the reservoir integrated. Okay, then he went to a remote pump, had a remote reservoir, and then I let him borrow a pump that I had to try it on it, to try to make sure it wasn't just the pump doing it. And then finally, he brought me the original Saginaw pump that was on the truck to put back before they put the Visual Impact system on the front. He said the Saginaw was quiet, but if you're going from a Type 2 pump to a Saginaw, there's a 2-inch difference in the depth of mounting. So we were going to have to space the Saginaw pump out 2 inches to get the pulley out in alignment. If you look up on the front here, you look down and you notice that the alternator is in front of the head and the pulleys are out further. On a normal small block Chevrolet, the alternator actually sits just a little bit over top of the valve cover and everything sits back just a little further. So if we were going to use that Saginaw pump, if this flow reducer fitting had not fixed this, we would have had to space the Saginaw pump out 2 inches to get the pulleys in alignment. So needless to say, thank you, Melissa, for the advice of trying the fitting first. That was great advice. So Now, everybody else, you'll know if your type 2 pump, which type 2 pumps are notorious for growling, if your pump is growling, making noise, try the flow reducing fitting. The part number, like I say, we showed that earlier. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, please subscribe. Click the bell so you get notifications for new videos. And as always, thank you, Lord. Thank you for today.